Okay, let's continue with the second part. Now the thief is caught, the woman is there, the dog is also there. Down, Sherry, she said. Anyone would think I'd been away for a month. She smiled at Horace, and now she's telling anybody would think that I am not living here since a month. And she was smiling at Horace. Now and went on. However, I came back just in time, though I didn't expect to meet a burglar, means a thief. And she's saying that I came back. Nobody expected me that I would return so soon. But I never expected that when I'll enter my house, I'll see a burglar there, a thief there. Horace had some hope because she seemed to be amused at meeting him. And Horace was also a bit relieved because if the woman would have started screaming, shouting, it would have created lots of problem for him. But that woman was talking with him, so that was the plus point for him, for Horace. So he was a bit relaxed, but yet he knew that he was caught. He might avoid trouble if he treated her the right way, and Horace knew that if he would be right here, if he would treat her well, he would not have problem. He replied, I didn't expect to meet one of the family. And Horace said, I never expected someone in the house. I thought the house was empty. She nodded. I see. What an inconvenience it is for you to meet me. And the woman is saying, sorry, but. And she started nodding, means nodding her head. I'm sorry for the trouble that I met you. It is for you to meet me. What are you doing? What are you going to do? And she says, what are you going to do now? Horace said, my first thought was to run. Horace said that I was going to run away when I heard your voice. Of course, you could do that, but I would telephone the police and tell them all about you. They'd get you at once. And the woman is telling, yes, you can run, but I'll call the police and you'll get caught. Don't worry. Horace said, I would, of course, cut the telephone wires first, and then he hesitated, a smile on his face. A hesitated smile. He said that cutting off the telephone wire could be a good idea. How would you call? And he also gave a little bit of smile to the woman. I would make sure that you could do nothing for some time. A few hours would be enough. And he says that I am also a thief. I plan well. So cutting off the wires and this all, I would get enough time to run away. She looked at him seriously. You'd hurt me. And she said, would you hurt me also? Horace paused and then said, I think I was trying to frighten you when I said that. And Horace is telling that I was trying to frighten you by saying these things. Horace suggested, it would be nice if you would forget you ever saw me. Let me go. And what did Horace say? It's better now that you leave me. We have never met. Please let me go. The voice was suddenly sharp. Why should I? But the lady now got serious and said, why should I let you go? You are stealing in my house and I shall let you go. You are going to rob me. If I let you go, you will only rob someone else. And I will let you go. What you will do? You will rob someone else also. Society must be protected from men like you, and society must be protected from thieves like you. Otherwise, you will rob lots of other people. It's better you get caught. Horace smiled. I am not a man who threatens society. Now Horace is clarifying that I am not that kind of a robber who robs every now and then and harms people. I steal only for those who have a lot of money. And he clarifies that I only steal money from those people, those who are very, very rich. I don't steal money from everyone. I steal for a good reason, and I have a reason also for stealing. I am not a common thief, and I hate the thought of prison. And Horace says that I don't at all like the thought of going to prison. I never like the thought of going to prison. She laughed and he begged, thinking that he had persuaded her. Now Horace is thinking that now the woman will not create any problem for him. Look, I have no right to ask you for anything, but I am desperate. Let me go, and I promise never to do this kind of thing again. I really mean it. Now Horace is telling that please let me go. I'll never do this stealing business, robbing business ever. Please let me go. She was silent, watching him closely. Then she said, "You are really afraid of going to prison, aren't you?" That woman was very intelligent. She understood that Horace has a fear of going to prison. That she understood from what he said. And she was really afraid. Many thieves and robbers, those who steal, are not at all afraid of going to prison. Whenever they are caught, they go to prison, they come out, then again they start the same business. But here the case was something different, that Horace was a person who really never liked to go to prison. She came over to him shaking his head. "I have always liked the wrong kind of people." See, what is she saying? That I always like this kind of wrong people. She picked up the silver box from the table and took a cigarette from it. Horace, eager to please her and seeing that she might help him, took off his gloves and gave her a cigarette lighter. So the woman was ready to smoke. She took out the cigarette. So as a courtesy, Horace took out the lighter, took off the gloves, picked up the lighter and lighted, gave a light to her. "You will let me go." He held the lighter towards her, and with the lighter he said, "You will let me go, no?" "Yes, but only you will do something for me." But the woman said, "Do one thing for me, I'll let you go." "Anything you say." Horace said, "Anything that you will tell, I will do." "Tell me what." Before you left for London, I promised my husband, before we left for London, I promised my husband to take my jewels to our bank." And now she is saying that before we were going, I had promised my husband to go and place all the jewels that are inside that safe, lots and lots of jewels, to put into the bank locker so that they may be safe there. But I left them here in the safe. I want to wear them to a party tonight, so I came down to get them. Now she is telling that I am going for a party. I want to wear those jewels. Those are in the safe. Horace smiled. "You have forgotten the number to open the safe, haven't you?" Horace started smiling. "Oh, you might be knowing that certain safes have the number combination. There is a round button. It keeps on moving, and there is a combination. You have to come to that number by twisting it round and round. And when you only are the person, just like a password, know the number, then only the safe will open." So Horace understood. "Oh, I understand now. You have forgotten that combination of the numbers, haven't you?" "Yes," replied the young lady. The lady said, "Yes, I have forgotten, and all my jewelry is inside. I cannot open it. Now you are a thief. You can obviously open it for me." That was the idea of the lady. She replied. So she told him to get the box out. Horace, "Yes," replied the young lady. "Just leave it to me and you will have them within an hour, but I will have to break your safe." So what did he say? That leave it to me. It needs a bit of time to open it. I will open the safe for you. Don't worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month and I will have the safe mended by that time. The lady is telling, "Don't worry. If you need to break it, break it. My husband is not going to come here for a month, and when he will come after a month, up till then I will get it repaired." And within an hour, Horace had opened the safe, giving her the jewels, and gone happily away. So as it was decided, a question of trust, that she would let him go if he opened the safe. So he opened, gave her all the jewelry, means she took all the jewelry, and Horace happily left. She let him go also without getting him arrested. For 2 days he kept his promise to the kind young lady. For 2 days he kept his promise for the kind young lady. On the morning of the third day, however, he thought of the books he wanted and he knew he would have to look for another safe. But he had promised the lady that I will not steal again. But 2 days only he could keep his promise, because he was a thief ultimately. And now he was deciding to rob something else, another safe somewhere, because his weakness was those books that he wanted, and for that they were costly books, he needed lots of money. But he never got the chance to begin his plan. but he had decided to rob another safe, but he never was successful in it. Why? By noon, a policeman had arrested him for the jewelry robbery at Shortover Grange. Now, what happened? See the twist in the story. He was planning for the robbery, but in the afternoon, a policeman came and arrested him for the same robbery which he had actually not done at the same place where he had found that, where he had encountered that lady, the Shortover Grange. Now, police arrested him. Now, his fingerprints for he had opened the safe without gloves. He forgot. With talking to the lady, he had removed his gloves, and now he had opened the safe, broken up the safe, and everywhere his fingerprints were visible. So through the fingerprints, the police came and arrested him for stealing the safe, which obviously he did not take a penny also, but his fingerprints were all over the safe, and the things in the house. Had opened the safe without the gloves, were all over the room and also on the room, because he had touched lots of things there, and no one believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house has asked him to open the safe for him. Now, who will believe a thief that the owner himself will tell you to break his own safe? No one in the world is ever going to believe that the landlord himself will tell you to rob his house, break his safe. Is it possible? Never. And he tried to convince the police, but it was really in vain. How could anyone believe such a story? It was real, we know it was real, but it was totally imaginary for the policeman and the society. The wife herself, he said that the wife of the house, who was the owner of the house, herself said that please open the case for me, safe for me. The wife herself, a grey haired, sharp tongued woman and 60, said that the story was nonsense. See, the real owner of the house was grey haired, means almost white hair, sharp tongued woman, and she was 60 years old, and she said this is nonsense. I am the owner of the house. Then the question arises, who was that beautiful young lady? A very young lady. Who was she? Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of, now obviously nobody believed, he had no proof. Horace is now the assistant librarian in the prison. He often thinks of the charming, clever young lady who was in the same profession as he was. Means you might have understood that the young, beautiful lady, charming lady was none other than a thief, just like Horace. See how intelligent she was. She took and all the things, the entire thing. Nobody got hold of her. Poor Horace had to pay for that. He got into the prison. She was free. So she was also a thief, and never Horace could find out, but he understood that at the end, when he met the real lady of the house, lady who was in the same profession. See, she was in the same profession, means she was also a thief as he was, and who tricked him. And that woman really tricked Horace. How? Intelligently. He gets very angry when anyone talks about honor among thieves. And now, as in the beginning I told that there is an honor among thieves, that thieves don't rob thieves, and thieves always support the other thieves. There is a rule for them that they do not even help to catch a thief, never helps others to catch another thief. So that was the story. And now whenever somebody talks to Horace about the honor of the thief, he gets really very angry. There is nothing like that, because she was also a thief, and due to him, poor Horace had to be imprisoned. So a very interesting twisting end of the story. Here we come to the end of the story on page number 95 we have 25, sorry, we have questions, 4 questions only, thinking about the text that you need to write down and complete it in your fair book. Very simple story. Just go through the lesson twice, and after going through the lesson, reading the lesson is really very important for you. Please do read. Just don't depend on the online lectures. Read the story. It will be helpful to you to understand the small portions of the lesson that are in the chapter. For all the chapters, not only this, please do keep on reading, and please write down the question and answers in your fair book. Until we meet again, stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.